Without further ado, I'd like to get this thing kicked off by introducing our contest chair and division, Governor Kristen Bruckman.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Did y'all get enough coffee? Let's try that again.
Good morning. Good morning.
There we go. We are here to have fun today. One of the contests today is a humorous contest. So I want you to think about something that happened to you that was funny this morning and laugh. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You got a double one out of you, Tom. There you go. Usually it's just a single. I know if I get a double out of Tom, it's really good. You know, I had all kinds of trouble getting here this morning. 61 is down to 1 lane for no reason at all. There are just barricades for about 20 miles.
Yeah.
And they're not doing anything. And of course, I got behind one of those drivers that needs to have a sign on the back of his car, I brake for no apparent reason. And he was in one of those giant old cars the size of an aircraft carrier. You know what I'm talking about? The kind with the hoods that go for days. You can launch F-18s off of those things. Seriously, it was awful. I could not get around him. And he kept slamming on his brakes. There's a mailbox on the corner. Slam on your brakes! Mailboxes are notorious drivers. There's an oak tree on that hill over there. Slam on your brakes! Those giant century-old oak trees jump out in front of unsuspecting drivers all the time. All the time. Really. They do. They do. There are cows on that hill over there. Slam on your brakes! You know, those are evil terrorist cows. They're just waiting for the chance to zoom down that hill and fling themselves in front of your car. You know they are. Yes. Yes. I don't know what was going through the guy's mind, but I finally got here. It cost me an extra 15 minutes getting behind him. Anyway, it's okay to laugh today. Like I said, one of the contests is humorous. Think about funny things. Get yourselves warmed up, laugh a little bit, and let's have some fun. I'd like to thank everyone for coming. We have several dignitaries in the audience today, including our illustrious District 19 Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Education and Training, Ann Chapman. Division Governor for Division B, Paul Wood. District 19 Public Relations Officer and Assistant Area 92 Governor. We have the Area 94 Governor, Mitch Greer. We have some woman who's the Area 93 Governor, named Kristen, I'm not sure. And I'm also, as Mitch said, the Division E Governor. I didn't get enough work to do, so I thought I'd take it over. Do we have any club presidents, past or present, in the room? Stand up. Going. Thank you so much. And how about some guests? Do we have any guests? We have one guest. We have 2 guests. We have David Lopez and we have Albert Lynn.
Yes.
You're a guest.
Okay.
Honey, you're not working. You're a
Howdy.
If I had known you were coming, though, I would have put you to work.
Okay, that's cool.
All right. The first contest is our evaluation contest, and earlier the contestants drew lots to determine their speaking order. The order of the contestants will be number 1, Tom Traynor. Tom Traynor, Traynor. Number 2, Tamra Binder, Tamra Binder. Tamra Binder. Contestant number 3, Jennifer Rolling, Jennifer Rolling. Contestant number 4, Mary Ann Chu. Ann with an E on the end. Chu is spelled C-H-E-W. I'll repeat their names. Contestant number 1, Tom Traynor. Number 2, Tamra Binder. Number 3, Jennifer Rolling. Number 4, Mary Ann Chu. For a review of the evaluation contest rules, please welcome Chief Judge Ann Chapman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Fellow Toastmasters, as Chief Judge, I confirm we have equal judging representation for the areas involved in this contest. The judges, timers, and ballot counters have been briefed and are aware of their responsibilities. In addition, the contestants and Sergeant-at-Arms have met for a briefing regarding the rules and procedures of the contest. Mr. Timer, would you please review the timing procedure and have a final check of the timing lights?
Evaluation contest. Timing will begin with the contestant's first definite verbal or nonverbal communication with the audience. This will usually be the first word uttered by the contestant, but would include any other communication, such as sound effects, a staged act by another person, etc. Evaluation length is 2 to 3 minutes. A contestant will be disqualified for speaking less than 1 minute 30 seconds or more than 3 minutes and 30 seconds. The green light will be turned on at 2 minutes. The yellow light will be turned on at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The red light will be turned on at 3 minutes and will remain on until the speech ends. Any contestant is disqualified whose presentation time is less than the minimum time or more than the maximum time just noted. No signal shall be given to indicate that a presentation has gone into overtime. In the event of a technical failure of the lights, a contestant is allowed 30 seconds extra overtime before being disqualified. We also have these backup cards, green, yellow, and red cards in case the timing lights fail. Thank you, Don. And can you show us the lights? Green, yellow, and red. That's it. Thank you.
Folks, I know we all have the greatest respect for our contestants today. For that reason, I ask that if you need to leave the room, please do so only during the 1 minute break between contestants. The Sergeant-at-Arms will allow you to exit and re-enter if you can do it within that 1 minute. Please also remain silent during that minute. That's when the judges are trying to do their work. Also, of course, don't take any flash photography. Please silence your items. We do respect these folks who are coming up here today to enter this contest. Protests regarding originality or eligibility are limited just to the judges and the contestants themselves and shall be made to me as contest chair or as chief judge, or to Kristen as contest chair. And that has to happen prior to the announcement of the winners. And right now, then, let's bring back our contest chair to explain the procedure for the evaluation contest.
Thank you, Anne. We will begin with our test speaker, but first of all, I would like to see who has a cooler cell phone than mine. I know Corey May does. Hold them up, let me see them. Oh, nice, very nice. Ooh, that's cool. Great. Hey, now that you have them out, why don't you turn them off? Put them on silent. Great, thanks so much. There's always somebody who has to call in the middle of the speech, and you know that's never good. Our test speaker today is a new Toastmaster. She has also been our refreshments chair this morning. Please welcome Susan Jameson, the reigning queen of The reigning queen of Susan Jameson.
I know what you're thinking. Why on earth is she dressed that way? All I can say is it seemed like a good idea at the time. Toastmaster and fellow Toasties, I stand here before you on this stage, not as a speaker, but as an actor. Today, I'm playing the role that I was born to play, the reigning queen of Like many of you, I joined Toastmasters thinking that perhaps consistent practice and evaluation would help me improve my speaking skills. Perhaps my expectations were too high, but I kind of expected that by joining, I would magically become a better speaker. I thought that because this is not for a grade or a job requirement, that all the pressure would be off, and I would at least be slightly better. This summer, it became clear to me that that was not the case. It was my third or fourth time speaking for 2 minutes or less in front of my Toastmasters group, and for the third time, I maxed out on ums. What does it mean to max out on ums, you ask? It means that in less than 2 minutes, I managed to say more times than can be counted. I also started my table topic, began a story, looked up at those present, and felt my brain shut off. I lost not only my train of thought mid-story, but I think I forgot who I was for a minute. Unfortunately, my mouth did not take its cue from my brain. I managed a few more ums, ahs, and ands before finally fleeing the stage in disgrace. When I left the meeting, I went to my car and I cried. I was frustrated and embarrassed by the lack of connection between my brain and my mouth. On the way back to work, I tried to analyze what exactly the problem was. As a college graduate with a degree in creative writing, I am a competent communicator, at least in writing. I know that sentences should not be connected indefinitely by the word and. I know that and are not actually words. I know that thoughts need to be organized to be understood. As an adult, I'm not intimidated by any of you individually. Well, maybe a few of you. I would not run away from any of you on the street. I am an introvert, but I do not avoid contact with other human beings. I am neither a recluse or a hermit. What also might surprise you is that I do not have stage fright. As a theater minor, I was in several plays in college and have been in a few more at the community theater level. I once stood on a busy street in a Tweedledee outfit, waving at cars to try to get them to come see Alice in Wonderland. I can be boisterous and even outgoing as long as I'm somebody else. With that in mind, today I come to you not as Susan Jameson, speaker wannabe. Instead, I embrace my shortcomings, my weirdness, my quirks, and my failures, Instead of fighting against the horror of maxing out on alms, I embrace my identity as the reigning queen of alms. Thank you for your time. I am done.
Sergeant at Arms Mitch and Corey, will you escort the evaluation contestants from the room, please? I purposely didn't tell you about this part because I knew that you wouldn't show up. If I did, you would stay home. I am supposed to use an interview with you as filler for the next 5 minutes.
You're right.
Okay. Why don't you start by telling us how you found out about Toastmasters?
Okay, I found out. I don't even realize I'm doing it. My daughter takes, can't even speak anymore.
That's okay, do it.
We all
Yeah.
My daughter takes singing lessons from Kristen, and she was telling her story of her journey in Toastmasters, and I found it hard to believe that she was afraid of speaking in front of audience, in front of people. That is one of my biggest fears, unless I have a script and it's somebody else. So I came to a meeting, and yes.
She brought a friend with her to protect her from those who wanted her to sign up. And not only did Debbie not defend her from the people with the membership applications, Debbie signed up too. So we got 2 for the price of 1. Almost.
Both of us are.
And both of them are making tremendous progress. Susan gave us an absolutely hilarious speech last week called How to Survive the Coming Zombie Apocalypse. I wondered if you could give us a brief rundown. No? Well, she had 10 points, 10 hints on what to do when the zombie apocalypse happens. Can you give us 1 or 2 of those?
Get them in the brain, or they'll keep coming after you. Don't go out on a boat because zombies float, so get to high ground. But always have an escape plan because they will, in a huge zombie apocalypse, they will pile up and be able to get to you. Use a sword, not a gun. Guns run out of ammo. The sharper, the longer, the better. What else? I have 5. Those are 3.
That's good.
That's all I can remember.
That's good. She has a wonderful way with words. And what she said in her speech has stuck with me all week. Don't use guns. Ammunition is finite. This is a brilliant way of saying you'll run out of bullets. It's absolutely brilliant. So that was very enjoyable. She had us all in stitches. We were practically howling with laughter. And I think there's a great future for you in Toastmasters. You're looking at me like, get me out of here! No, but you can sit down. We'll talk about something else. Thank you very much. We'll put you out of your misery. As long as she's not in front of people, she's absolutely fine.
Well, let's just turn around.
Susan had to move down here to Muscatine for her husband's job. Your husband works at the
Journal.
Muscatine Journal. Is the
Publisher and editor.
publisher and editor of the Muscatine Journal. So, Area 93 folks, we have an automatic in for publicity. Okay. And you moved like the day before Christmas, didn't you?
Yes, we spent Christmas in a hotel.
Yes. Yes. The closing on the new house and the closing on the old house didn't quite coincide. So they packed up everything and had a special suitcase for Christmas presents. Moved the day before Christmas Eve. I can't even imagine. You're not going to move for a while now, right?
Right.
Right, you're going to stay put for a while. This is good. I was terrified that I was going to have to donate Kaylee, her daughter, to some voice teacher down here in Muscatine, but they continued to make the drive. It's a lot of fun working with someone that talented. I'm sure you've all experienced that when you have one of your proteges in your club that you're mentoring, and they just show promise from the very beginning. Isn't that fun? It's just so great to work with people like that. How are we doing, Mr. Sergeant at Arms, on time?
15 seconds.
2 minutes left on their clock. We do not get to declare the 5 minutes. The 5 minutes begins when the evaluationists begin to, evaluationists. I just made up a new word. When the evaluation contestants begin taking their notes. So we have a couple of minutes left. There were some announcements from our hosts here at Stanley. Mary Jo Fincham, who is sitting back in the corner there, she's president of Stanley Consultants Toastmasters. Let's give them a big round. For sharing their fabulous facility with us. I was on this stage as a contestant almost exactly 3 years ago. Terrified. I had some kind of ridiculous speech about raccoons. I don't remember it. But that was my first divisional contest. I had been a Toastmaster for about 3 months at that point. So it's wonderful to be back here. I like the way the facilities are laid out. And it's a great room to speak in. It has wonderful sound. At any rate, Mary Jo wants us to be aware that there are cords on the floor and not to trip over them. And if you need to leave and go outside, make sure you take your cell phone with you because the doors are locked and you'll need to call Mary Jo to come to the door and let you in again. Are we ready?
You're ready.
All right. Contestant number 1, Tom Trainer.
I know to go with me.
No, they don't, sir.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
And his notes can go with him?
Yes.
Okay. Check your attitude, please.
Sorry about that mix-up, Tom.
Madam Contest Chair, Toastmaster dignitaries, fellow Toastmasters, guests, but most especially Susan, Queen for the day, new Toastmaster. Let me tell you some things I really liked, and I'm going to give you some ideas for improvement. Wonderful material, funny, perfect for a humorous contest, witty, original. Telling a personal story is always the best way to not lose your way. If you could do the rest of your speech life and only tell stories, you would conquer everything. Remember that for the future. Tell stories, don't give speeches, enjoy what you're doing. Everything else comes out of being a great storyteller. Using your notes was great. It helped you keep your filler words under control because you were using your notes, which is perfectly good. It doesn't say to get rid of them, absolutely, until you get to speech number 10. The rest of the times they encourage you to get rid of them, but use them as long as you need them. What else? Using your costume puts you into the role of being a player in a play. You're used to that. You're a theater manager. Made you at ease. Made you seem relaxed. What you could do better. Now, some of the things I'm going to bring up are going to come up later, but I want to cover them. As our founder said, we're never going to get rid of our butterflies. I still have them. Some people also have them. But we'll get you to learn to get those butterflies to fly in formation. Project your voice. I'm a little hard of hearing even with my ears on, so you want to try to practice that the person in the last row, which is the wall, can hear you clearly. Just like you were in a stage. A long building, forget it. Slow down. You never heard Shakespeare rattle off any speeches. Use pauses to accentuate your material. You're using notes, mark where your pauses and your emphasis is going to be. Problem with table topics. You know the theme? If you don't know the theme, practice the table topic at home. Come prepared to do a table topic. There is nothing wrong with that. Except you're in a contest, which you don't know what the theme will be. What else? Volunteer to be the icon for 3 or 4 weeks in a row. I guarantee you that you will see the filler words disappear. Those are all practical things. I'm looking forward to seeing you next year up here as a humorous speech contestant. Madam Visionary Contestant.
We have 1 minute of silence, please. We set the clock. Contestant number 2, Tamara Binder.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, Madam Contest Chair, and Susan, especially Susan. I'm going to say you know your ABCs. You know how to A, get our attention. Your outfit was great. I mean, everybody was looking at you because of your outfit. We were all wondering, what the heck? Your humor was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And that brilliant humor kept us paying attention. When you made your joke about your brain and your mouth not being connected, everyone in the room knew exactly what you were talking about. We were laughing at ourselves. So your humor was brilliant. And then you connected with us. What a better topic for Toastmasters than the Queen of Ums. We've all been there. We've all maxed out on the ums and the ahs. Every Toastmaster starts there. So you connected with us, not only on an intellectual level, but on that emotional level where we all experience that anxiety. But you went a little further. You told us about how you walked to your car and cried. You moved my heart. You connected with us on your ABCs. You got our attention, your humor was brilliant, and you connected with us emotionally. And you need to do that if we want the audience to think, feel, or do something differently. Because I've heard it said that the man is the intellect, and your emotions are the elephant. And to get those emotions, to get change, you've got to move the elephant, and you do that by connecting emotionally. If I had to give you any thoughts, anything to work on, one would be a little more practice, because your eye contact was with the paper and not your audience. So just a little bit more practice, you would be able to connect just a thought with one person in the audience. Share an idea or a feeling. That's going to connect with the audience just a little bit stronger, and you're going to get them to move, think, or feel differently. And just a little more work on getting those pauses in, because it's the silence that is as beautiful as the notes. Think about Beethoven's 5th Symphony. You know, that dun 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 dun. When you hear that silence, you know exactly what it is. That's what brings it home. That's what connects with you. But Susan, you did a great job. You know your ABCs. You know how to get our attention. You have brilliant humor, and you know how to connect. A little more practice, and you'll knock them dead and earn your D. Thank you.
clock. Contestant number 3, Jennifer Rowling. Jennifer Rowling.
Thank you so much, Madam Contest Chair. Good morning, honored dignitaries, guests, fellow Toastmasters, and the reigning Queen of Please meet the reigning Queen of Like. That's right, I have maxed our club out numerous times on the word like. Susan, your presentation today was absolutely stunning for me personally because you reminded me of why I joined Toastmasters in the first place. You reminded me of how far I have come from the reigning Queen of Like. You did several things very well with this presentation today. I loved your opening. I loved your humor. And overall, I loved that message. Now, Susan, I'm not a huge fan of props at all, but I thought your usage of the props today was fabulous. The dress, the tiara, and you addressed it right away, so you did not leave the audience wondering what the props were, what purpose they had in your presentation. That's exactly what I like to see with usage of props. Your humor. You are funny. You are very, very funny, and it comes very naturally to you. I loved it when you were telling us the story about Tweedledee and this costume that you were wearing. You're trying to get people to come in and watch this play, this presentation you had. It was very funny how you presented it. And the humor spoke to me on a couple of levels. The first, as a contestant, it helped me to relax and to remember why we're here. And I could see, as I looked around the room, the other audience members were relaxing as well. And they were settling in and really enjoying not only your presentation, but what we come here today to do together and to represent. There are a few tips I have for you to take this presentation to the very next level of our royal court, and that is to really encourage you not to use notes. I understand you are a new speaker, and it's kind of that security blanket. I had the same thing when I started. This is your story though, Susan. You know it best. This is your chance to share yourself with all of us. You have excellent vocabulary. Use that strength to your advantage and really harness it. I would also like to see you do a little bit more with gestures. The gestures that you had were kind of down here to the side. Again, the usage of notes. Even if you have a piece of paper in your hand, use it as another prop. When you go to your car and you're feeling really sad, how that brain's not connecting with the mouth. Use it to your advantage. When you're excited, use it to your advantage. So really harness those notes when you are using them to help enhance your presentation. Finally, you hit it on the head. Acting is different than speaking. And we are here today to take our speaking skills to the next level and to really work on overcoming the reigning Queen. Like. Right in front of this chair.
Mr. Timer, may we have 1 minute of silence for the judges, please? Contestant number 4, Mary Ann Chu. Mary Ann Chu, contestant number 4.
Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, yes, and our speaker. There you are. Great job, Susan. Really well done. As most people say, first impressions most important one. And I think that you did a really, really good job creating your first impression. When I heard the title of your speech, The Reigning Queen of I had to stop writing my notes. I was like, wow, that's a really, really creative title for your speech. And then when you walked up, I was stunned. Your outfit was really, really catchy. The outfit fits the title really well. It is appropriate for the speech. And it's a good timing for Halloween as well. So within that first 10 seconds, you won me over already. It was a really good impression. Now, moving on to your speech. I think that your speech is really organized. You have an opening, a body, and a conclusion. The purpose of the speech was clear, and it was really entertaining. You added some humor in it, and the choice of words you used, the sentence you spoke was relatively pretty short and easy to understand. Now, one thing that I would suggest you to improve better for your speech would be, I noticed that you tried to add in some gestures into your speech, but most of your gestures, I notice it's towards the floor most of the time. What I would suggest is you raise it up a little bit so that the audience in the back could see it well. The vocal in your speech was clear enough that I think it's loud enough for the whole audience to hear you well. One thing that I would do differently in your speech is, your speech doesn't require you to move a lot. You don't need a lot of space for your speech. What I would do different is I would lay all my notes on the lectern, and then instead of reading down like this, I would stand here and look down a little bit so that my voice can be projected more. Overall, really, really good speech, really well done. This is your really, really good speech. And I look forward for your next speech. Thank you.
Mr. Timer. You know I have to say this. We have 1 minute on the clock. Counters, can you please collect the ballots? Judges, please hold up the ballots. Tom Trainer, you were one of the first people I met outside of my home club. Tell me how long you've been a Toastmaster.
Oh, let's see. Must be getting close on to about 14 years. Maybe 15.
14 or 15?
Something like that.
Wow. And you've got quite a lot of accomplishments in those 14 or 15 years, including the one, it says here under notable accomplishments, I'm alive. Would you care to explain that?
That's always a good opener. December 28th, 1983, 8:15 a.m. A young lady driving a front-wheel drive car, wasn't familiar with it. It was snowing, Rochester, New York snowing, which means it's coming down at about 6 inches an hour. She lost control and drove into my car.
That wasn't nice.
No, she was doing 50. I was doing 50. And I was doing 100 when I hit the car, front of the car. And I'm alive. It's called an NDE, near-death experience. There's nothing near about it.
No.
It's death experience. It leaves you slightly changed.
Yes.
Yes,
I can imagine.
it does.
Wow. And you're here.
I'm here. Ha!
Thank you so much. Jennifer, You are from Dubuque, and you say that your interests are traveling, reading, and hiking. I noticed there's nothing about Toastmasters on there, but that's
It's a given. It's a given.
Tell us about those interests.
I took my first major trip when I was 16 years old, and I thought I would start big, and I went to Spain with my high school Spanish club. And the little travel bug was planted, and I haven't shaken it since.
Wonderful. So tell me how you combine reading and hiking. I can do multiple things at once, but I'm not sure I can read and hike.
You know, I can't either, actually. I'm the clumsy person in the world, and I'm lucky if I can chew gum and walk at the same time. But they both fulfill me in the same way. Being outside is very serene, very calming for me. I love to spend time in nature, and reading has the same effect on me, especially if it's a really good book, to just snuggle in and be transported somewhere else.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I love your red shoes. Those are so fun.
But not.
You didn't have to go to Kansas for it. All right. It says that your interests are travel, dance, and languages. How many languages do you speak?
I speak 5 languages.
Wow.
I speak 3 Chinese dialects. Mandarin is my first language, and then I can speak Cantonese and Hokkien. And since I'm from Malaysia, I grew up in Malaysia, so I speak Malay and English, and right now I'm learning Spanish.
Wonderful. You know, there's a song about you. It's from a musical called the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. Anybody familiar with that? Yeah. Right. Well, Susan, of course, with your theater background. But there's a character in there who has a song called I Speak 6 Languages. I think you want to audition. Notable accomplishments. You're just happy to be you. Tell us about that.
Well, I am really thankful for what I've been through in my life. I got to travel a lot, which is what I like, and I relocate a few times throughout my life, which shapes me to be able to see more different cultures and types of readings, different types of tradition and stuff. So it shapes me and my character to become a better person.
Thank you so much. You know, I have these certificates of participation I was supposed to give out, but we'll do that at the end. I think my cold medicine has addled my brain somewhat. All right, we are going to take a 5-minute break, 5 minutes only. Set your watches. We will start at 11:29. I neglected to introduce a couple of our guests. We have Brad Puck from Muscatine. Another gentleman whom I do not recognize, but since he's sitting with the Dubuque contingent, I am assuming he's with them. All right.
In Dubuque, we like to bring everyone in, so he's...
There you go. All right. You bring me in too? Can I be part of your crowd?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm in there with the cool kids. I am going to give you a shameless plug, since I am the contest chair, for our division, or district conference. It's 4 weeks from today. You can still register. It's going to be awesome and wonderful and fabulous in every way. We have all kinds of fun planned. We were able to secure a fabulous, absolutely fantastic keynote speaker, and it's in Davenport, which is nice and close for everybody in Division E. So come. These will be out on the back table, or you can get one from me. Next, we are going to start with our humorous contest. Remember to laugh, guys. For this contest, all of the contestants may remain in the room. Earlier, the contestants drew lots to determine their speaking order. The order of the contestants will be contestant number 1, Tamra Binder, Tamra Binder. Contestant number 2, Ken Farrar, Farrar. Contestant number 3, Todd Etken, Oetken. Contestant number 4, Anne Marie Jeanette, AnnMarieJannette. I repeat their names. Contestant number 1, Tamra Binder. Contestant number 2, Ken Farrar. Contestant number 3, Todd Etken. Contestant number 4, Anne Marie Jeanette. I know you all know this stuff, but I have to say, because it's written down here, for a review of the rules of the humorous speech contest, please welcome Chief Judge Ann Chapman.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, contest chair. Everything's the same, all right? We're still respecting the contestants, right? Yeah? That means we can only leave during the 1-minute judging period. We need to remain silent during that judging period. We don't want any flashlights going off. We don't want any phones going off. Please shut those off. We do have equal representation of judges. Again, this is for our contestants to make sure that they have the best possible. All right, and now let's go to our chief timer for the review of the timing.
Timing for the humorous speech contest. Timing will begin with the contestant's first definite verbal or nonverbal communication with the audience. This will usually be the first word uttered by the contestant, but would include any other communication, such as sound effects, a staged act by another person, etc. Speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. A contestant will be disqualified for speaking less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds, or more than 7 minutes and 30 seconds. The green light will be turned on at 5 minutes. The yellow light will be turned on at 6 minutes. The red light will be turned on at 7 minutes and will remain on until the speech ends. Any contestant is disqualified whose presentation time is less than the minimum time or more than the maximum time just noted. No signal shall be given to indicate that a presentation has gone into overtime. In the event of a technical failure of the lights, a contestant is allowed 30 seconds extra overtime before being disqualified. We also have these backup green, yellow, and red cards in case the timing lights fail. And we'll demonstrate the lights again. Green, yellow, and red. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Timer. Everything seems to be in order, so we will move it right along and bring back our contest chair.
Thank you, Ann. We will begin with contestant number 1. Contestant number 1, Tamra Binder. Until death do we part. Until death do we part, Tamra Binder.
Can we talk? You see, I need your help. After 18 years of marriage, I understand. Until death do we part. But what I don't understand is men. Toastmasters honored guest, and Madam Contest Chair, my husband, he's brilliant. He's a chemical engineer. He tells me this is high-level math and chemistry. Oh, yeah. That's interesting. He was appointed to an industry-wide safety panel, and now he doesn't like left-hand turns. Yeah, that's not irritating. But most importantly, he's in charge of our yard. Yes, he has anointed himself as yard man. And I know this because he reminds me every time I ask him to do the dishes, to fold the laundry, or not lick the spoons clean. Please help me understand this man, because I'm in this until death do us part. Let me give you an example. April 2007. I asked the yard man to do the dishes, and he said, I don't do dishes, I do the yard work. But you haven't trimmed those hinges like I told you to. He gave me his look, stomps out the door, and then I heard that unfamiliar mechanical pop, 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 and I was so proud. So I had to go look out the window, and there my husband was, wearing his safety goggles, holding a chainsaw, and my 6-foot hitch was 3 inches tall. Please help me understand this man, because I'm in this until death do us part. October 2009. I asked my yard man to fold his socks, and he said, I do yard work, not laundry. Well, you haven't been pulling those weeds like I told you to. He gave me his look, stomps out the door, then he drives away. Please help me understand this man, because I'm in this until death do us part. Well, when he came back, he had purchased this cylinder. It was about 30 inches long, and it had rubber tubing on one end that connected to a propane tank. Honey, what is this? It's the dragon. I read the box. Weed-eating dragon with 100,000 BTUs. You'll never pull weeds again. So you bought a flamethrower? Honey, our gardens, they're full of mulch. You know, dried wood. And the last I heard, dried wood and fire are not a good combination. My husband, he took his pet dragon out for a walk. And 10 minutes later, guess what? I saw flames outside the window. I ran out to investigate. And there was this little tiny pine bush blazing higher than the rooftop. My husband, he was running around in the yard looking for the hose. Get the fire extinguisher! I ran to the garage. I swung open the closet doors. I pulled out 6 life vests, 4 lawn chairs, and a bowling ball. And there, at the bottom of the closet, was our fire extinguisher in its original packaging, just like we bought it 9 years ago. I grabbed the box, I ripped it open, I ran back to the fire, I shook the extinguisher, I aimed, I squeezed. Nothing. I shit again. I pulled the pin. I aimed. I squeezed. Nothing. My husband, he was running at me with his hose in hand. Turn the water on. I ran to the faucet. I twisted the handle, and water was spraying back at me. We have kinks. He twisted one end. I twisted the other end of the hose, and then I saw water spray up into the air. And Yardman, even with his singed eyebrows, was able to put the fire out. Have you ever had one of those moments where you said, "We'll laugh about this later"? Yeah, that was not one of them. And although I may never understand this man, as you can tell, I am in this until death do we part.
Mr. Timer, could we please have 1 minute? Number 2 is Ken Farrar. Career advancement. Career advancement, Ken Farrar.
Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters and guests, it has literally been decades since I last received a job promotion. So from personal experience, I am not an expert on career advancement. The last time I received a job promotion was before the turn of the century. The Chicago Cubs, those perennial losers, have reached the postseason playoffs several times. Not the World Series, but the playoffs several times since I last received a job promotion. I have worked for my current employer. A correction, I have been with my current employer for over 29 years. And my job title is the same today as the day that I started. Now, don't get me wrong, I have a great job. I work with great people. I enjoy my job, but it's starting to bother me that I've never received a promotion from my current employer or the employer before that. So I decided to do some research in the methods and techniques for career advancement. And through my research, I discovered that there's a high road to career advancement, but there's also a low road. Remember, eagles may soar, but weasels don't get sucked into jet engines. Some people shamelessly promote themselves to upper management in hopes of obtaining a promotion. They misrepresent themselves. They use deception, trickery, and even fraud. They somehow think that misrepresentation will produce a job promotion. But fellow Toastmasters and guests, there is a word commonly used in corporate America that is a synonym for deception, trickery, and borderline fraud. And that word is marketing. Marketing produces cell phone contracts. Marketing produces all that credit card junk mail that fills up your mailbox. And you think that marketing will produce a job promotion? It has about as much chance of success as one of those pieces of credit card junk mail. Others try to draw attention to themselves by uttering such common phrases as, "We need to think outside the box." Let's think about that statement a little bit. Who owns the box? Who is the defender of the box? Who loves the box? It's the very people that can give you a job. Don't insult them by slandering the box. Don't draw such negative attention to yourself. Remember, the nail that sticks up is the nail that gets pounded down. I tried to climb the corporate ladder one time until I found out that it was leaning against the wrong wall. Since then, I've chosen not to play politics in search of career advancement. but I often work with people who are playing that game. Their motto is, if at first you don't succeed, try management. There is, however, one tactic, one technique that I have found that consistently produces job promotions. And quite simply, that is to become a yes man. Show your loyalty to upper management. Agree with them every chance that you get. Show that you truly are a team player, that you deserve a promotion. I've seen this tactic used successfully many, many times. In fact, I've seen it used successfully so frequently and so consistently in my company that you can actually boil this tactic down into 3 simple sentences. Memorize these 3 sentences and say them at the right time with the correct feeling in your voice, and you are virtually guaranteed a job promotion. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, this presentation has now become a career advancement training seminar. These 3 sentences are: great idea, wish I would have thought of that, we should have done that a long time ago. Repeat after me. Great idea, wish I would have thought of that, we should have done that a long time ago. I have seen these 3 sentences alone produce promotion after promotion, all the way to the vice presidential level, and I think I heard some vice presidents in the room just now. So it seems easy. Memorize 3 sentences, say them at the right times, and job promotion is virtually guaranteed. But being a yes man is not quite that easy. Being a yes man requires consistency and perseverance. Being a yes man frequently requires complete abandonment of all logic and common sense. Remember, a pat on the back is only about this far from a kick. You know what? The committed yes man will remember and apply these 3 sentences, no matter how dumb the idea may seem. For example, and this really happened in my company, let's say you're sitting in a meeting and you learn that upper management has decided to move the offices of all corporate trainers and training support personnel out of the training facility and into another building 10 miles on the other side of town. In the back of your mind, as you sit there in this meeting, you're thinking, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Move the trainers out of the training center. Then somebody in the room turns and asks you, what do you think? Every eye in the room is now at you. You swallow hard and say, great idea, wish I would have thought of that. We should have done that a long time ago. As a yes man, don't worry that you are trading intellect and integrity for insanity. After all, career advancement requires sacrifice. But be encouraged that the notions of upper management tend to run in cycles. Someday, a few years later, you may be sitting in another meeting, and somebody from upper management announces that in order to improve efficiency, we have decided to move the offices of the trainers and training support personnel back into the training facility. Somebody in the room turns and asks you what you think of that idea. And you say, great idea, wish I would have thought of that. We should have done that a long time ago. Madam Congress.
Chief Timer. Contestant number 3, Todd Etkin, Pollination. Pollination, Todd Etkin.
Pollination. That's scientific.
scientific term we all oohed and ahed over. Once our teacher spoke it and defined it as a form of asexual reproduction. This definition itself shot me and every fellow pubescent 7th grader to the edge of our seats, anticipating more of those unknown facts about the birds and the bees. Discovering this new vocabulary word was the reproductive cycle of green plant life was an overwhelming letdown to us all. Following my 7th grade school year was the summer when 29 fellow citizens and I boarded a school bus way before the crack of dawn. We were partaking in summer employment, famed for its hefty wage of $3.30 an hour. Yes, I was one of the chosen few. One of the few chosen to bound from farm to farm over the bumpy, beaten down back roads of Iowa on a bluebird bus. I was dressed in shorts and a t-shirt, accompanied by my cooler and color-coordinated thermos. I was an official detasseler. Once our bus halted, we evacuated into a field of water-soaked corn. An executive from the corporation employing me and my comrades beckoned our attention. He was a muscular man in form-fitting Wranglers with a firm pleat iron from thigh to cuff, a bright white V-necked tee, center-parted hair, and a handlebar mustache, thick enough to have been of great assistance to Moses during his historic parting of the Red Sea. This manly man proceeded with his hands-on demonstration of what the detasseling process entailed. He grabbed a pubescent stalk of corn and separated the leaves of its upper tier to expose a timid yet potent attachment, the tassel. He then grabbed it, thumb down, and with a swift upward jerk, parted this male appendage from its mother plant. I was appalled. There I was, a naive adolescent, being ordered to strip the total manhood from another species of life, a species to which I held no ill feelings. I gritted my teeth and proceeded forward, cleansing this innocent, undefiled corn, robbing it from its right to procreate, while each stalk stood so near its peak moment of fertility. My continuous journey had me trod across miles and miles of rough, recently fertilized topsoil for what seemed like an endless span of time. I began to weaken. Misery enveloped me. Then, lunch. I downed my meal so rapidly, Guinness himself would have had great difficulty in an accurate timing. Then, our foreman gave a holler, concluding our break. I lethargically returned to that sinful task of annihilating another of God's creations by means of sterilization. With the sun now higher in the sky, its rays began drying this victimized foliage. That scorching sun was saturating my soft, supple skin with its burning, beaming rays of bright light. My fatigued arms were sore from the constant attack of those recently dried leaves. Leaves that had become stiffer, sharper, and more aggressive were cutting my flesh from all directions, from every possible angle. I was trapped. There was no way out. I began praying, pleading for the Lord's mercy when a dark cloud appeared in the midst of that pale blue sky. It honed in above me and initiated the pitter-patter of rainfall on those seemingly venomous leaves. Leaves that were everywhere I was and was to be. Oh, the relief, the soothing relief that transformed into a relentless downpour rain-coated everything everywhere and converted that dry soil into a muddy mayhem, causing each of my steps to fall deeper and deeper into this soggy earth from which these plants were born. This mire of mud was covering my shoes that multiplied and weighed with each stride which was slower and more arduous than the last, until there was no shoe to proceed forward with my foot. This vengeful earth had swallowed my footwear and was now aggressively pulling, tugging, sucking on my socket foot as I strained forward in my senseless trek of ridding fellow creatures of their Y chromosome, their total potential for propagation. The sight and smell of corn was engulfing my senses, restraining my desperately needed, oh, so tardy conclusion. Regardless of the wages, man should not fool Mother Nature.
Mr. Timer, you know the drill. Contestant number 4, Anne-Marie Jeanette. Gratitude, Anne-Marie Jeanette.
Thank you, Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. I'm sure that you're all wondering, what kind of a title is gratitude? And yet, gratitude is a very important, though often overlooked, emotion. You see, gratitude means being grateful for granted. Or, more inclusively, being grateful in general to the common rock. When was the last time you said thank you to a rock? I'll bet never. And yet, without rocks, our society would crumble. Quite literally, in fact, as it is rocks that we use in part to build our buildings and our roadways and our swimming pools, all of which are necessary for any healthy functioning society. And that is why I would like to give long overlooked gratitude to our fellow rocks. My love of rocks started when I was a child, but it was taken to a whole new level when I got to college, where I was required to take at least one science course, and like any good lover of all things rock, who also happens to be a bit lazy, and finds the thought of taking a biology course much too strenuous, I took a geology course. Unfortunately, the only thing I really learned from the class is that you shouldn't take a class that meets right after lunch in the windowless basement of the science building. Each day the professor would turn off the light, turn on the humming projector, and drone off. Occasionally, the class would be roused from its slumber by mention of topics like cleavage, until learning that he was talking about yet another type of rock formation. What was I grateful for? I was grateful that I had the opportunity to take a class where I slept through most of the lectures and yet still somehow managed to pass with a C+. Now, I may not know very much about the science of rocks. My love of their different shapes and colors has been a continuous source of pleasure for me. I'm very particular about what types of rocks I'll pick up. I understand now that it may be very difficult for you to follow along with my complicated system of choosing a rock, but I appreciate you trying to follow along anyway. My requirements include such adjectives as pretty, shiny, and cool. Did you know that you can find rocks almost anywhere? That's right. They're not just on the beach or in ditches. They're in your shoes. And they're in a bag of split peas. Rocks can also be found in vernacular speech as well, in phrases such as, I slip like a rock, between a rock and a hard place. And the one I tend to hear the most often, dumb as a box of rocks. The music industry, not to be outdone, has brought us such favorites as Crocodile Rock, Love Me Like a Rock, and Rock Lobster. With music, we can rock the boat. We can rock the body, this town, that thing. And we can rock the Casbah. What other inanimate object offers us such versatility? Can you pencil me, Amadeus? Simon and Garfunkel's I Am a Rock just wouldn't work as well if I were, say, a stapler or a spatula. So I think it's easy to say that I'm very grateful to the versatility of rocks. And it's a nice short word that's easy to spell. Yet another way that rocks are looking out for us. No wasted syllables. Rocks give us joy in their varied shapes and colors. They provide us jobs for gloomy old geology professors. They provide us entertainment, such as, I'll have that scotch and soda on the rocks, please. They comprise our structures, such as our houses and our bomb shelters. And they provide us fodder, which, depending on your definition of the word fodder, could mean accidentally eating that stone in your split pea soup, or it could mean fodder for, say, a Toastmasters speech. Either way you look at it, rocks give us something to be grateful for in almost every aspect of our lives. And that is why I'm truly grateful for rocks. The next time you close your eyes and silently thank the heavens for your loving family, don't forget the rocks. Don't forget about your gratitude, because without rocks, and perhaps gravity, we would all just be floating around the universe with nothing to cling to. And that is why I am truly grateful for rocks.
Why we do this to ourselves. Whether it's the thrill of competition or just all the personal growth you hope to obtain. But as a natural introvert, it's always a little bit tough for me. And so I do get a little stressed out over these things. And I'm always so grateful when I'm done and at the growth that I obtain. But surviving is always an accomplishment. My greatest fear is wetting my pants up here.
Next is Ken Farrar. Ken, you tell us how it works that you work for Band-Aid, but you're a member of Stanley Consultants.
Well, Band-Aid we had our own club, 3896, for many years. Until Band-Aid downsized a couple times and moved the trainers out of the training center. Yes, you heard that somewhere. And so we no longer had enough people for a club. So a few of us went to the Stanley Club, which is an open club, and met over the lunch hour. We were used to meeting with the lunch hour, and so there's still one other guy from Band-Aid that is in the Stanley's Club, and I really enjoy the Stanley's Club. It's a good way to meet more people that are in Toastmasters and keep going.
Wonderful. You have quite a bit of interesting stuff listed on your interests. Family, church, sports, investing, fishing, creation science, history, gardening, Mississippi River, and music.
Sure.
Pick one.
I will pick the last one, music. In fact, I added that. I competed in a speech contest several years ago, and I just more or less copied the same thing. Always save your sheets, makes it easier next time around. But I added music because one of the things I'm doing right now is practicing to sing Messiah, which is scheduled for December 1st. We're in Muscatine with the Muscatine Symphony Orchestra, and so that's a lot of fun.
Yes.
And it's as challenging as a Toastmaster conference.
Yes, yes it is. Thank you so much. Todd So your interest includes square dancing?
I'm flat-footed, I can.
Yeah, well, I just noticed this nice little move Now, you have some notable accomplishments down here, including the Virginia Craft Award. Can you tell us about that? This is craft spelled with a K.
Who here knows who Virginia Craft is?
Nobody.
Picture the boy in a can going, Mountain Grove. Remember her?
Yeah.
Okay. She went to high school in Yarmouth, Iowa. They put a school together in Minneapolis, Iowa, from a high school. So if you're the best actor, you got the Virginia Craft Award. So I got the best one.
Wonderful. Now you are, I keep noticing your email address. I know we're friends on Facebook, and I keep seeing that come up. Toddy Allen, did they actually ever call you? I'm like trying to imagine you tall being.
Well, when I was born, I was a fat baby, 9'12", but my mom called me Toddy Allen, so that's what everything else was using the internet. So I just wanted to type that in and it worked. Had a Toddy boy, I didn't like Toddy boys, so.
Right. I was envisioning hot alcoholic drinks, but that's okay. Okay. Todd, thank you so much. Anne-Marie. Now, I noticed this first off. Pet rabbits and dachshunds are your interests. You have both. They share the house and keep peace with each other, and
They do. They actually get along pretty well. I have 3 rabbits and 2 dachshunds, and my rabbits range in size from a little under 1 pound to about 13 pounds. And let me just say, the 13-pound rabbit is bigger than either of the dachshunds. And the rabbit has bitten both of the dogs. That rabbit can take care of itself. I'm just gonna say they love to eat their poop.
Oh.
Okay, I know what you're thinking, but heck, the less that I have to clean up.
Okay, thank you very much. And can I have our evaluation contestants step up here for your certificates, which Jennifer and Tom, thank you so much. I have several thank yous. A lot of people made this contest happen. And I tell you what, with the week I've had, if it weren't for you all, this would not have come off. So I have some certificates of appreciation for everyone who pitched in and everyone who was here except our 4 visitors. If I had known you were coming, I would have made you a certificate. I really would have. Jay Decker, one of our ballot counters. Mary Jo Fincham, president of Stanley Consultants, our host club today. Mitch Greer, sergeant at arms. Bill Harper, one of our ballot counters. Susan Jamison, refreshments chair at our fabulous testing. Corey May, assistant sergeant at arms. All right, Keith Nielsen, ballot counter. Tom D. Sicka, registration. Brenda Speth, registration. And Cindy Trainer, whom I put to work the second she walked in the door. She's been helping with refreshments. To tell you a little bit about Cindy, I was so sure she would help that I had this pre-printed for her. Even though I think Don Wadley said, oh, Cindy will do anything. Just put her to work. Thank you all for coming. Did you have fun today?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
It wasn't entirely better than being able to sleep until noon on a cloudy, rainy day, but it was really pretty close, wasn't it? Do we have results? All right. Did we get the certificates? All right. Can you take this back to Susan, who will do the calligraphy for us? We will go ahead and start with our evaluation contest winners, if I have that information. Do I have that information? Do I have that information? Do I?
Just building anticipation.
Aha, there we go. The envelope, please. Oh, I always wanted to see. All right, for evaluation, you know, this happened a couple of years ago. The trophies are blank because they sent us table topics trophies, not evaluation trophies. So make sure that I have your mailing address. And get you a little plaque that says you won the evaluation. In second place, of course, it's very important because if the first place winner cannot proceed to district, second place will go. So in second place, we have Jennifer Rowling. Great job. Thank you so much. First place in evaluation. Evaluation, the blank one. Tamara Binder. Awesome. Stuffing the envelope back there. Oh, she's a track queen as well. Second place in humorous speech goes to Todd Etkin. First place in humorous speech, proceeding on to district, Ken Farrar. You're still shaking. We're good? All right, thank you all so much. We really appreciate this. This could not have happened without everyone's help. Drive safely, and I hope you don't get behind any old farmers. We have a couple of announcements. First of all, if you need a registration form for district conference, Ken, you need one. Yes, you do. You need one. If you are an experienced and trained contest judge and you are not selected to be an official judge at the district contest, please consider attending the contest and bringing along someone that you can mentor and teach them how to judge. This is a new program that we are implementing in District 19 to train up conference judges. You will be having the same ballots as the official judges. You and your mentee will compare notes and discuss how to fill out the ballot. You can compare your scores at the end. Your ballots will, of course, not count, but you will be doing the district valuable service in training an inexperienced Toastmaster in how to judge a contest. Please see Chief Judge Mike Anderson. He is the district chief judge. This is the man to talk to. I have a couple people that I have in mind already that I'm going to bring, Susan being one of them. Here's your contest forms, conference registration. Thank you so much. Are there any further announcements? Corey May.
We couldn't have done this without her.
Go!
Yeah. We've got to give a shout out to this show. It's been a rough one. It's been a rough week, and we pulled this off. Division E is well represented, and this was a blast to see. So let's give some